Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is titled Internet Behavior versus Offline Behavior. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially in terms of how differently people act online versus how they behave face-to-face. I keep asking myself, when people act a certain way on the internet, is that really who they are? Is that how they want to be in real life? Or do they put on some kind of online persona they'd never actually live up to in the real world? Because let's be real, people say things online that they would never say to your face. But here's the thing, even if they wouldn't say it to your face, they're still thinking it, right? It's still running through their heads. So in a way, the internet is kind of exposing their true thoughts, whether we like it or not. And that's where it gets tricky. Is the internet showing us who people really are? Or is it just bringing out the absolute worst in them? Because let's not forget, trolling is a thing. A big thing. People love to stir the pot. And half the time, they don't even believe what they're saying. They just want a reaction. So how can you tell when someone's being genuine and when someone's just messing around for the sake of trolling? I don't have a clear answer to that. Part of me feels like, yeah, the internet reveals a lot of ugly truths about how people think. You don't even have to leave your house anymore to see it. Just hop online, scroll through a few comments, and you'll get an idea of what's going on in people's minds. But then I think maybe some of this nastiness is just the internet bringing out a side of people that doesn't really exist offline. It's hard to say. But I'm naturally cynical. So if I'm leaning one way, it's towards believing that a lot of what we see online is how people really are deep down. Maybe they don't show it at work or in public, but it's there, lurking under the surface. And the internet just gives them a stage to let it out without having to deal with the consequences they'd face in the real world. Still, regardless of whether people are being their true selves or just trolling, a lot of people take what's said online way too seriously. I see it constantly, and I've fallen into that trap myself more times than I'd like to admit. You read some comment, or someone says something rude, and suddenly, you're spiraling, getting all worked up over someone's words on a screen. It's easy to get sucked into it, but you've got to remind yourself that it's just the internet. Maybe they're trolling, maybe they're not, but either way, getting offended or letting it affect you doesn't change anything. And if you do get offended, guess what? They'll keep doing it. Probably even harder, just to watch you react. That's why I had to step back and reassess how much I was letting the internet mess with my head. I was way too invested, letting random people's opinions affect me like they mattered. Now, I've got a better grip on it. I don't take the online world as seriously because a lot of people are just treating it like a game. Like nothing they say has any real consequences. But that's where they're wrong. Because, it does have consequences. You can't just say anything online without repercussions, especially when you cross the line into illegal stuff. There are limits, and people forget that sometimes. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. Thanks again for listening to Moore's October Rants. I hope you got something out of this one, and maybe it'll help you see things a little differently next time you're scrolling online. Stay smart out there. Don't let the trolls get to you. And remember, there's a real world out there that matters way more than this online nonsense. All right, signing out now. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.